All right, so you sent us this elementary OS 8.0.1 announcement, wanting to kind of get a better grasp on what's actually in this update.
Yeah.
What it means for you as a user. And so we've got the blog post as the main source here.
Right.
And really our mission is to pull out the good stuff, the most interesting stuff, the most important things for you to know about this release.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, just to set the stage, this is a bug fix release.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some of those like quality of life improvements. It's been about 100 days since 8.0.
Yeah, about 100 days, yeah.
And it's on the latest Ubuntu LTS hardware enablement kernel, which is a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah, the hardware enablement kernel being the most recent one is going to be good for people who are running newer hardware.
Yeah.
It's going to have better compatibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a pretty significant update.
Yep. So let's jump into the specifics.
Okay.
We'll start with App Center. And it looks like they've put some work into this, especially for those of you who like dark mode.
Yes. Specifically, they now correctly display the dark mode brand colors in App Center.
Okay.
And then they also now prefer dark mode screenshots when available.
Nice.
So that's really nice for dark mode users because they have kind of a consistent experience there.
Yeah, a little bit more polished.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks to Italo for this.
Cool. And it sounds like there's some other kind of behind-the-scenes changes happening in the App Center, too.
Yeah, so they added support for the new developer app stream tag. This is thanks to Juan.
Okay.
And this is laying the groundwork for some features I'm really excited about.
Oh, really? Like what?
Potentially things like verified developer badges.
Oh, okay.
Or more easily finding apps from developers that you already trust.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really kind of a good step towards that.
Okay, cool. And then there's mention of a contribute URL type.
Yes, the contribute URL type.
What's that about?
This provides a standardized way for developers to link to how they want to be supported.
Oh, okay.
So whether that's donations or a Patreon page or some other way, this just makes it very easy
Nice.
for you to discover how to support these developers.
Yeah, especially, if you're using these apps day in and day out and you really like them.
Absolutely.
Like, it's nice to be able to show them some love.
Exactly.
Cool. And then, sometimes updates are a little rough around the edges.
Right.
Have they done anything to try to address that?
They have actually. Italo has also redesigned the release notes window that you see when you're doing updates.
Okay.
He's fixed some issues with text being cut off or overflowing.
Okay.
And then also fixed some other update and refresh issues.
So a little bit more reliable.
Yes, just kind of making the experience a little bit less frustrating.
Okay, cool. And when you're actually in App Center browsing for apps, any improvements there?
Yeah, search is now much faster.
Nice.
Thanks to Leon Hard for that. So yeah, that's going to be a huge benefit.
Especially if you're, you know exactly what app you're looking for.
Yeah.
You want to get in and out.
Right.
Cool. And then there's one more thing here for App Center.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to apply to most people.
Probably no.
But if you are developing apps,
Yes.
Rio has fixed loading local metadata using the local command.
Yeah, so that will make developing a little bit easier.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so moving on to files and terminal.
Right.
It sounds like they've been working on some of those just like little annoying things.
Paper cuts, as they like to call them.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jeremy has fixed a bunch of those in files.
Okay.
He's prevented an issue where you would try to type a file path when searching.
Okay.
He fixed scrolling after deleting a file.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then he fixed files disappearing when dropped on an unmounted drive.
Oh, that sounds bad.
It does sound bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, oh no, where did it go?
Yeah.
So those are all good fixes. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about those.
Yeah, that's a little scary
Yeah.
to think about just dragging a file somewhere and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what else for files?
So the new file submenu will now respect folder hierarchy in templates.
Okay, so that means if you have like, work stuff and personal stuff,
Right.
it will follow that.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're organized in your templates, then it's going to be easier to find what you're looking for.
Cool.
They also added support for the admin URI protocol.
Okay, now I got to ask, what is that?
So a URI protocol is kind of like a web address.
Okay.
So you know how you go to like HTTP://
Yeah.
Yep. So this is similar to that, but instead of going to a web page, it tells files to open a location with administrator privileges.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to like right click and say open as administrator.
Exactly.
Got it.
And then also, Files is now styled correctly when run as administrator.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So that's good too.
Okay, cool. And then for Terminal.
For Terminal.
What do they got?
So Jeremy also fixed a couple things in Terminal.
Okay.
Terminal tabs will now correctly focus with a single click.
Nice.
And then keyboard shortcuts will no longer stop working for drag tabs.
Okay, so if you have like custom keyboard shortcut, and then you drag that tab out, it'll still work.
Right, it'll still work. Yep.
Okay, cool. That's handy.
Yeah.
And then last one for Terminal, it looks like.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty cool.
Dragging file paths and names from files to Terminal will now quote them properly.
Oh, so you don't have to worry about like, if there's a space in the file name or something.
Right.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's a good improvement.
Okay, so let's move on to system settings.
Okay.
Which is kind of like the heart of, configuring your OS.
Yeah, this is where you go to really customize everything.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like there's a new way to control the notifications that system settings itself sends. Yes, you can now configure system settings notifications in system settings.
Okay, so very meta.
Very meta. But yeah, so you can now like turn off update bubbles.
Nice.
If you don't like seeing those.
Yeah, if you just want to be left alone.
Right.
Okay, cool. What about for managing your data if you're on like a metered connection?
Yes. So automatic updates will no longer occur on metered connections.
Nice.
And instead you'll be sent a notification.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks to Leon Hard for that.
Okay.
And update checks are also disabled in demo mode.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And speaking of updates, any other changes to just like the whole update process itself?
Yeah, so Vishal has added a nice feature where you'll now see the download size before updating.
Okay, that's good.
So you can know how much data you're going to be using.
Especially if you're on a metered connection.
Right.
That's super helpful.
And then Elaine has added a download progress bar as well.
Oh, cool.
So you can see how the download is going. And then also Vishal has changed the update process to skip held back packages.
Okay.
So that should make things a little bit more reliable.
Yeah. Okay, and held back packages meaning?
Meaning packages that are not quite ready to be installed yet.
Okay.
So maybe they're still being tested or they have some dependencies that aren't met yet.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it'll just skip over those and install the ones that are ready.
Cool. And then one more for this section. Rio has improved the accuracy of the last refresh time when there are no updates.
Yes. So that's just a small thing, but it's good to have that be accurate.
Yeah. I mean, it's the little things, right?
Right.
Okay, so staying in system settings, I noticed there's something here about a sponsorship goal.
Yes. Elaine has added a progress bar for the monthly sponsorship goal.
Oh, cool.
So you can see how close they are to meeting that goal.
Nice. So you can actually see, how your contributions are helping.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. What about controlling notifications from apps?
Yes, so you can now disallow notification access for specific applications and system settings.
Okay.
This is particularly useful for apps that don't show up in the notification settings.
Okay.
So if you have an app that's sending you notifications that you don't want, you can now go into system settings and block them.
Nice. Okay, so a little bit more control.
Yeah.
Over those pesky notifications.
Yeah.
What about network settings? Anything new there?
Yes, there are 2 new network settings.
Okay, hit me.
You can now disable automatic connection.
Okay.
So if you have a Wi-Fi network that you only want to connect to manually, you can now do that.
Nice.
And then you can also enable reduced background data usage per network.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, so if you're on a metered connection,
Yeah.
or if you just want to save some data,
Yeah.
you can now do that as well.
Cool. All right. I'm guessing they've also done some visual tweaks.
They have they've updated the pointer icons in mouse and touchpad. Checkmarks and locale will now respect your accent color.
Oh, nice.
And then Elaine also made settings pages with sidebars remember their width.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah. So just kind of making things a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So moving on to the initial setup experience.
Okay.
Like the installer.
The installer, yeah.
Anything new there?
Yes. So David has fixed a crash in the custom partitioning view of the installer.
Okay. So for people with like, more complex setup.
Exactly.
That's going to be important.
Yep. And then the encryption step has been redesigned onto a single page.
Okay.
So that should make that a little bit easier to follow.
Yeah, a little bit less clicking around.
Right.
And then the onboarding will now always stay centered.
Yes.
Even when you resize it.
Even when you resize it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So moving on to the panel and quick settings.
Right.
It looks like they've fixed an issue with the panel height.
Yes. specifically with the classic session and HID EPI displays.
Okay.
So Ilia fixed that.
Nice. And then they've added a new checkbox.
Yes, in the applications menu, there's now a keep in dock checkbox in the app context menu.
Okay.
Thanks to Stella for that.
So that's kind of like mirroring what you see in the dock.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then for the power menu?
For the power menu, they now show the device model if it's available.
Okay.
And they avoid displaying an empty battery icon.
Okay.
So those are both thanks to Elaine.
Cool. And then for the sound menu?
For the sound menu, they fixed loading album art from certain apps.
Okay.
Like Chrome.
Okay.
And then they also fixed overly large player icons.
Oh, okay.
So those were fixed by Dimitri.
Nice. Okay. And then what about for quick settings itself?
For quick settings, Leonhard fixed performing updates during shutdown.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good fix.
Yep.
And then Elaine added a new page for user switching.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can see who else is logged in and quickly switch accounts.
Nice, especially if you have like a family computer or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to the dock.
Okay.
What have we got?
So Leo increased the spacing between launchers and running indicators.
Nice. So it's a little bit easier to see what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, it just makes it a little bit more clear.
Okay.
They also fixed larger icons being clipped during their bounce animation.
Oh.
And then Leonhard fixed apps not notifying on startup bouncing indefinitely.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of annoying if it just keeps bouncing.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then they fixed the dock receiving clicks when hidden in classic mode.
Oh, okay.
And then lastly, they added an opaque dock style option when panel translucency is disabled.
Oh, nice. So if you like that kind of like solid look.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then last but not least, it looks like the window manager.
Yes.
Has had a huge release.
A huge release, thanks to Leonhard and Leo.
Wow.
So they've fixed 5 crashes, over a dozen other reported issues.
Wow.
A bunch of HID EPI fixes performance improvement. So if you've had any issues with the window manager in the past, you should definitely check out the release notes on GitHub because there's a lot there.
Wow, that sounds like a big update. Okay. And then lastly, the and more section. So it looks like they've included the latest Ubuntu HWE stack.
They have, yes. So that includes Linux 6.1.
Okay.
So that's going to give you improved AMD processor performance.
Okay.
Intel Lunar Lake support.
Nice.
And potentially some file system performance improvements.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And that HWE stack is also bringing support for more hardware?
Yes. It is expanded support for webcams, USB network devices, joysticks.
Wow. Okay, so if you had any trouble with any peripherals, maybe this will fix it.
Right.
Okay, so what else in this and more section?
So Leo has fixed a Bluetooth device connection causing the lock screen to freeze.
Oh, okay.
Stanislaw has added a TrueBol plus Q shortcut to close the captive network assistant.
Oh.
That's nice.
Handy.
Yeah. Elaine has fixed copying screenshots to the clipboard.
Nice.
And then there's an issue with wired network connections potentially failing to connect.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so this is due to an Ubuntu change.
Okay.
And it's going to require either using the terminal to fix it or reinstalling the OS.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so they are pursuing an upstream fix.
If they could.
And they will hopefully be able to release an update to fix that.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
So they have also pre-installed an Aparmer profile to address some Flatpak issues.
Okay, and remind me, what's a Parmer?
So Aparmer is like a security sandbox for your applications.
Gotcha.
So it basically prevents them from doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Okay.
So this particular profile addresses things like runtime update failures and apps not launching in guest sessions or demo mode.
Okay, cool.
And this is thanks to Uncle Tallest.
Okay, cool. All right. And then last but not least,
they've done a ton of translation updates. Thanks to internationalization community.
Yeah.
And a special thanks to Rio for fixing some localization issues.
Excellent. All right, so taking a step back, what would you say are the big themes, the big takeaways?
The big themes here are definitely stability and refinement.
Okay.
They've been focusing on fixing bugs, addressing those paper cuts, just making the experience a little bit more polished.
Yeah, it seems like they've really been paying attention to user feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then also the under the hood improvements are really significant, especially that new kernel.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really good for hardware compatibility.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So for you listening,
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this gives you a better understanding of what's in this update.
Yes.
You can now kind of focus on the areas that are most important to you.
Right.
And if you want to learn more, you can go to the Elementary OS blog post.
Absolutely.
And of course, you can always contribute to the project if you want.
Yeah.
They're always looking for help.
And so with that, I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
What is something in your computing experience that you wish more operating systems would focus on?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, like what little thing is just like driving you crazy
Right.
that you wish would get this level of attention?
Yeah. What are your paper cuts?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.